She assaulted me with a steam iron. She placed it on my left lower arm, on my upper right shoulder and in the middle of my shoulder blades.
His former partner is now serving 18 years in prison.
Her justification was that I didn't tell her often enough that I loved her and I didn't instigate the physical side of the relationship. That was her justification for the violence, that I'd made her feel unattractive.
Welcome back to the Anthony Spade channel. Today we're going to be talking about why women abuse men in relationships. Now before we get started, the abuse in a relationship from a woman to a man is rare. It's very rare, especially physically abuse. Physically abuse, in my opinion, is probably less than 1%. But psychological, emotional abuse, I'm going to put up there around 30 to 40%. And during a divorce, I'm going to increase it to maybe a 90% abuse. Because during a divorce, things get ugly on both ends. The worst out of both people come out. Right. But when we think about abuse and we start thinking about domestic violence, the first thing that people think about is a woman being abused by a man, because 1/4 of women are abused, not only verbal abuse, but sexually abused too. And the reason why they don't speak about it because of men, because it's kind of like, how could a man be abused when a man are supposed to like when women are touching them or when women are complimenting them, and they're supposed to be strong enough to stop a woman from abusing them physically. So men getting abused gets overlooked a lot. And the reason why is because you just don't expect it. Now, the mindset that we have of women is what everyone's been told. Women are supposed to be weak, vulnerable, naive, and sensitive creatures. All the laws that were designed for women represented that type of woman, the sensitive, naive, and weak creature. But nowadays, we don't have sensitive, we don't have naive, we don't have weak women. We have women that are just like men. We have women that are thinking just like men and are acting like men. The only thing is, though, women are becoming dominant at the workplace, but that's about the only place that they're becoming dominant at, is places that you don't have to become too physical. Because on the physical scale, men that are becoming transgenders are doing women activities and are doing it better than women. They're doing women's sports better than women. They're doing women weightlifting better than women. They're doing women's UFC better than women. But I have yet to see a transgender woman that's trying to be a man dominate any male sport, dominate any male activity at all. That's the only trickery about this equal opportunity and these rules and laws that we have in life, that women are given power. Now, first of all, I just want to say that the women on verbal abuse to a man is probably one of the highest, in my opinion. And we're going to talk psychological. For one, women don't understand is that you are allowed to abuse a man, because we're supposed to be looking at you as being weak. We're supposed to be looking at you as being naive. So when a woman is talking bad to a man or talking down to him or trying to get underneath his skin, it's abuse to a man. And the reason why it's abuse to a man is because he has to hold in a lot that he wants to release, for the simple fact that you are a woman. Because if he tries to approach the same situation like a man would, saying the same thing, then it will probably get physical. But you are allowed to say things to a man that most men would never even say to a man, that's worse than what a man would even say to a man. And you would get underneath a man's skin and want him to emotionally fight you. But he can't, because you're a woman and you're taught to a man that he's supposed to be, that you're supposed to be weak, naive, and vulnerable. But women have evolved into men now. So you can actually are stronger than what you are, but the law still works against you. So if he was to treat you like a man, then he would be at fault. See, that's abuse to a man. Our laws need to reflect the type of women that you are right now. Even the divorce laws need to reflect the type of woman that you are right now. Because it's abuse to a man for you to overpower him with masculinity, but still use the laws of a sensitive, weak, and naive woman to gain power. See, if you was that weak, naive woman still, you wouldn't even think of half the things that you want to do to a man that you do now. The only reason why you think to destroy a man now is because you have a man's mindset. But the laws are reflecting a weaker woman. It's reflecting a different type of woman. This is how men are being abused verbally and through the court system. Is that you're still being treated like a naive, weak woman, but obviously most women are not like that anymore. So you get to act exactly like a man, but the laws don't reflect anything for you acting like a man. See, you can hit a man, you can lie about a man, you can call rape, you can call all these things because technically the law says she's still weak and vulnerable. But in reality, you're smart, naive, and deceptive. This is what women are doing every single day. This is how men are being abused. You're allowed to do things and we can't respond to it. The universe has given you a free pass to destroy a man whenever you get ready. That is abuse to a man. Now, you have relationships where you have women that are suffering insecurities and you have a man that they're married to, more than likely a blue pill guy, that just wants to see his wife happy. You know, he may be in love that he still sees her as being weak and vulnerable. So when she starts off verbally abusing him, he's just trying to make her happy. And she just tries harder and harder and harder. She just keeps coming harder, verbally abusing him. Now realizing that he's emotional because he loves her, but at the same time, he has to respect her because she's a woman and the law is in her favor. And the reality of life that we live in is in her favor. This is what allows a woman to be very abusive to a man. It's because he's always looking at her as being weak and vulnerable. And if he tries to protect himself or even treat her like a man whenever she does manly things, then the law works in her favor. These are the things that men are thinking about whenever they're being abused by a woman. These are the things men are thinking about whenever women may be like, we live in a generation of weak men that can't handle these women. That's what a lot of these women are saying. These men can't handle us. It isn't that men can't handle you. It's just that you have a free pass to destroy a man and the world's going to help you do it. A man cannot do nothing nowadays but just stop. Because even if he screams at you and tells you to stop, that's considered toxic masculinity now. So it's like men can't even be a man and stand firm anymore with who they are in their manhood, because if they do, that's considered toxic masculinity. That's abuse to a man when men need masculinity in order to be a man, but society is telling them no. And it's mainly the Me Too and this feminist movement saying, no, you're not allowed to be masculine anymore. So that's abuse to a man when a man can't be their natural self. These are the things that we're living in. This is the world that we're living in. This is why men are being abused by feminism. Now, one thing that I've noticed is that majority of the women in the relationships now want to argue. They want to fight. They want to debate about everything. They want to compete with their boyfriends. they want to compete with their husbands. It sounds good for a woman to a woman to a woman, bragging about how they're competitive with a man. But it's not good when a man's perceiving it. A man doesn't want the thing that he loves to always be challenging him to a competition. A man is always looking to form with a woman as one bond and maybe compete against other people. But in relationships now, that woman wants to outdo you at cooking. She wants to outdo you at working. She wants to outdo you with taking care of the house. Everything that you're doing nowadays, your woman wants to compete with you at it. That's abuse to the man because it's going against how he naturally feels about a woman. So to a man, it feels like they're always dating men. So men are being abused psychologically because it's like, all right, what am I dating here? Am I dating a woman or am I dating a man? That's a form of abuse to him because women are saying, hey, we're this sensitive girl, we're this girl, you're supposed to love us for this, but you're acting just like men. Now, we're not going to go too deep, but when it comes to divorce, that's when a man really gets most of his abuse. Because the thing that he loved to most turns out to be the devil. Turns out to be the thing that he's going to hate the most. When it comes to women, men are starting out loving you to death, and then they end with hating you. You don't have too many relationships that's going to last 50 years in this condition that we live now, in this climate that we live in now. Divorce rates are going to get higher because of the abuse that men are suffering every single day. Women empowerment is abuse to a man because you're making him needless. You don't need him anymore. So why do he need to pursue you when you're trying to impress other women? What women have become now is abuse altogether, just by taking yourself from being what a man really wants. And then you have guys in relationships, no matter what happens, they try to maintain and stay in a relationship because they care about the woman. But the woman is not happy with herself, and she will verbally, emotionally, and physically abuse him and take advantage of everything that he has to offer her. There's a lot of ways that women abuse men. These are just my thoughts on it. Comment, like, subscribe. This is Anthony Spade. Hasta la vista.